Hello and welcome to Weekend Wisdom. Today we're going to talk about how Bitcoin is melting, but marijuana stocks are on fire. Stay tuned. We're going to discuss this and much more. Hello and welcome to Weekend Wisdom, where education is the key to a successful financial future. First up, don't forget you can click show more additional information to get some links and other items on today's video. Also, if you're looking for opinion different that of Wall Street and Big TV, please do consider subscribing. So Bitcoin is melting, marijuana is smoking. Yes, I know, it's quite the title. But in reality, as an advisor, it is my job to do research and find out if some of these items coming into the market are worth looking at or adding to portfolios. And both of them have had a tremendous amount of hype. Last year was all about Bitcoin, and then this year it's been a lot about marijuana. So let's start with Bitcoin. One of the big issues, a lot of people, myself included, are a little bit challenged on understanding how exactly it works. So let's bring in an expert.
Here, pair digital currency. It's anonymous and it's decentralized. It's like being able to teleport money to anyone.
Well, maybe not the best, but that got 285,000 views. So let's bring in a true expert, I think, who really explains this.
Ones are Bitcoin, Litecoin, Purecoin, Namecoin, and Dogecoin, and Catcoin. Actually,
now that goes on and on and on and gets into all this stuff, and you're mining and you need supercomputers and certain cooling systems and all these big super chips, etc., right? So the problem is it really is difficult to understand. Famed investor Ray Dalio said, Bitcoin is a bubble. It's speculative, people. Okay, pretty smart guy, big investor. Jamie Dimon, it's not a real thing. It's a fraud. Now he tiptoed back on that one, but he did say it. Next up, of course, Warren Buffett, Mr. Value. Stay away from it. It's a mirage. And, well, you know, kind of interesting. He might be right on that one. And I would say, quoting Chuck D, don't believe the hype. But let's take a look at the charts. As always, here's Bitcoin. When you take a look here and looking at from 2016 to last year, whoo, looks exactly like one of those skiers. Taking off, leaning back, and it continues to rise to the point where it hits 1,700%. But like that skier, what happens? Well, we know what comes next. And we take a look at the up-to-date chart. This year, we did top out last December, and we're down about 65% as of the recording of this video. So what else do I see here? One, you have your 50-day crossing over your 200-day, which is a death cross. That's not too good. And after that death cross, it's kind of meandering along there, really kind of stuck in place. Nothing really happening. At the bottom, momentum, really no momentum to speak of. At the top, relative strength, same thing. So clearly the hype or the enthusiasm to buy into Bitcoin has been muted quite a bit this year. So what would you do right now? Would you buy it?
Oh, hell no!
Well, I mean, I think that you have to look at Bitcoin for what it is, right? It's a cryptocurrency. For me, not a recommendation. For me, though, I look at it and say, where are the earnings? Where is it? Where's the CEOs, right? How do you really get information on this company? And it's very difficult to. So, I mean, if you're looking at it from a charting perspective, then you can look at it and find points in and points out. Maybe there's an opportunity there, but I think there's too much risk. So now, let's get into marijuana. Well, not literally, but maybe figuratively. Here's some headlines, and boy, there's been a lot of them. Canadian cannabis stocks are soaring. Which ones make the cut? Investing in pot stocks really tricky. Why marijuana stocks are overvalued. Did you miss the wild ride in? Well, I had to blank that out. I can't talk about individual names. Okay, and then if you Google this on YouTube, I mean, hundreds of videos out there today. Now, not a lot of information at this point because it's still relatively new. Here is a North American marijuana index that tracks it. Not an official NYSE or anything else. I have a link below. But basically, it takes all the companies, North American, which is US, and Canada, and it's put them together in an index. Links below, disclosures, etc. Now, the issue to me is, you know, what do you want to do? Should you look at this? Now, I can't show individual charts at this point or individual indexes like I do with Bitcoin because they're not available at this point. So where do you start? Well, first off, start with your custodian. Where is your money held? Will they allow you to buy and sell marijuana stocks? That's a good question. I will tell you, Fidelity's our custodian. They allow us, but some do not, so you want to look into that. If you don't want to look at the individual stock names, there is an ETF out there. You can Google marijuana ETF. You'll come up with a great name, okay, that they have. You can look at that. That's a way to buy. And then, of course, there's several individual names right now. But you got to be careful, right? You have to look at it like any other stock. Forget about all this hype. I mean, last week I'm reading, and they have one company that is 20 million in sales that came from purchases. They haven't even started producing product yet, and they've got a market cap of over $2 billion. Yikes. I mean, that is very difficult to look at and say, boy, there's a lot of upside. So things you want to look for, daily volume, just like any stock. If you have low volume, you're going to have a lot of volatility, so you want to be careful. What are their sales, profits, earnings, right? Are there any? What's their plan for their future? Distribution, what other parts of the world? Because obviously the U.S. market is untapped, but there are other markets. There's also other products, not just the stuff you smoke, you eat, you drink, etc. So you got to look at some of the options out there. So right now, conclusion, what would I do on marijuana stocks? Right now I haven't done anything. I continue to watch them, but there's this FOMO, fear of missing out. Everybody wants to get in. I put out a questionnaire to my clients. A lot of them are open to the idea, but with all this hype, all this volatility, I'm looking for the market to settle down, look for real earnings, and then see if there's an opportunity long term. So, as always, we hope you found this video of value. Thanks so much for watching. Michael Loftus, Wealth and Wisdom TV.